I have to give one final thought on George St-Pierre and his pending retirement. First off, I believe it. I believe it fully because it was significantly different than any other time George stepped away. Okay, when he walked away from Bisping and the championship, walked away after Bisping and the championship, he didn't say I'm retiring. He just said, go ahead and get on with this division. I'm not looking to go through the list and stay at this weight class. But he was a little bit unclear on what he was going to do. If you back up from that and you look at when he walked away from the belt after defeating Johnny Hendricks, even Dana was going, okay, what does this mean? So you're retired? And George is like, no. I'm just not going to do this for a while. It was something like that. I'm not going to do it. I'm taking a break. I don't know what he said, but he refused to use the word retire. He's very disciplined on that. I don't know the reasons why. I would predict for you that he's one of these guys that believes in laws of attraction and just didn't want to put that into the universe. But either way, he publicly was disciplined to not say retired until he wasn't. And he came out and he just retired. Now, I'm giving you old history. I'm giving you revisionist history, but I want to make this point because he said one of the reasons that he's officially calling, he said, you know what, I actually wasn't ready to be done. I wanted to go down and I wanted to fight Khabib. You hear about this champ thing. I was looking to be champ. I wanted to try my hand at Khabib, and I can make the weight and I can do it. But he says, I got Khabib on board. Unfortunately, it doesn't take two of us to make a fight. You need three. You got to have the promoter. I didn't have the promoter on board. And when I looked at that, that surprises me. That's a huge fight. That's a really, really huge fight. And even if you think, well, we've been bitten by George in the past and we let him go up to 185 and he walked away from the top. So what? That's ancient history. People, I'm having to tell you guys that because you forgot it happened. And it just happened. It's a big PR mess. It's a big pro. What are we going to do? Oh, it's a log. Yeah, we got to go find two guys and we got to go fight for a belt because the belt's fake. That's a storyline. And guess what? That's 2 days of media at the most. It goes away really quickly. I think when you put that in conjunction with 90 days of great media, of positive fan interaction and of excitement and emotion leading up to Khabib versus George, I think it makes up for it. That's my own opinion. But let me say this. I just wanted to offer that for anybody that's not following the story. This is the point of me talking to you guys right now. I think if George would have done this, and we can only look at this in hindsight, right? We're forced to look at it in hindsight because it happened. I do believe that the timing, if it had been different, may have worked out for George. I think when George is sitting down and saying, okay, I want to fight Khabib, he had some timing issues there. Khabib's for 9 months is in the principal's office. Khabib, if we were to take him at his word, is going to sit another 3 just because. So that puts Khabib out for a year. I realize there's some time served, but what are you going to do if you're the promotion? What are you going to do if you're Dana? Hey, George, let's sign a fight that's going to happen in a year or is going to happen in 10 months in a best case scenario? I don't even want to run our current champion out there on a media tour while he is telling the world I'm not going to fight. I can't run him out there on a media tour while the commissions are telling him he's got to scratch out a check, do a PSA, and sit in the corner with a dunce hat on. I mean, it really is a little bit of a problem. So I would just offer for the world, and we'll never know. We'll never know the answer. The closest we'll ever get is a speculation that we make off of this video. But let me give you another scenario. George St-Pierre, 6 months from now, let's call it July, goes and talks to Dana and says, you know what, I'd like to come back and I'd like to fight Khabib. Oh, and by the way, Khabib is going to be ready to go. Oh, and by the way, that brings us to November. Oh, and I should also mention, you happen to have a card at Madison Square Garden that I noticed you don't have a headliner for yet. Different scenario. Can't tell you for sure that Dana would change his mind. But I can tell you that now it would make a little bit more sense than proposing this to Dana. And this wasn't even today, guys. One other clue George gave us, he'd been trying to do this for a couple of months. A couple of months back was before they even got in front of that commission who was dangling a potential suspension into perpetuity. We just had no idea. There was no way to sign and book Khabib for a fight against anybody, okay, at that time. And we'll never know how this would have played out. We'll never know. But I do think that it is very interesting because I think that it is going to be one of those cases of, in the future, what did we miss? Don't forget, George wanted to fight Anderson at one point. Anderson wanted to fight George. We didn't get it. Anderson wanted to fight John Jones at one point. We didn't get it. And I think as we look back over time, maybe there were some mistakes there. Maybe we should have solved that. Maybe it shouldn't have been a riddle that we all just have to sit down and talk about, well, George would have taken Khabib down. Oh, well, no, Khabib wrestles with guys way bigger than that, and he deals with that. That's what it's going to have to be. We're just going to have to talk about it and fight about it, but I would offer for you, potentially I'm right, if we would have revisited this, or at least visited it. We can't revisit it. He's now said the R word, retirement. If this would have happened this summer, I think those talks might have gone somewhere.